And then finally, we need to uncover your purpose. Your purpose is your driver. Now, you need to uncover your unique abilities and create this unstoppable drive within yourself. Because when you focus on your strengths, when you're able to get there, but you don't get to get here until you implement these other two things. You can't get to this point until you understand how to grow your business, which will afford you the opportunity to grow your team, which then will afford you the opportunity to implement the structure, which then affords you the opportunity to focus more on what you love to do. What impact can you make? How do you keep yourself motivated and moving to the next direction? Right? So unique ability, the concept was first brought to me by Dan Sullivan. He's owner of Strategic Coach, and you can read the quote there, but really what unique ability is it's about finding that thing that just makes you really special. Right? It's that intangible thing, the thing that nobody else can do. It's what you were supposed to do, and it's really hard to find. But when you have the clarity and you have that structure and you create the freedom, you'll start to understand it. Some of you probably feel it, but you can't really define it just yet. Right? It's probably because you haven't made those steps. But when you create your unique ability, you'll be more motivated, you're more passionate, you're more driven to do the things that you want to do. Right? So you have to learn to pass the baton if you ever want to harness your unique ability. So it's a really cool exercise. How many of you do tasks every week or day that you hate? They're like the oh shit tasks. Like, I hate doing them, right? Okay, everybody has them. Sometimes they're unavoidable, but as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, we need to be able to afford ourselves the opportunity to get rid of those. If you're using your time, and one of the things that happens a lot of times, we'll talk about it in priorities, is you do those things because you get to check them off the list. And for some reason, we think there's this like badge of honor because we did the stuff we hate. And you did a lot of it. But it didn't move your business forward at all. It kept it right where it was. And that sucks. You want to feel like you did something important that day. Sometimes you don't know it's important while you're doing it. But there's something there that, oh God, I can get lost in this. I'm not really sure where it's headed, but I can get lost in this. I could do this all day. That's how you start to know what your unique ability is. So when you go through your quarterly review, your quarterly business review that you do with yourself or your team, cool exercise, and we did it in the mastermind meeting the other day, I want you to do, and I want you to create columns, A, B, C. You fill up your columns. A is all the oh shit tasks, like the stuff you hate doing, stuff you should not be doing, you just despise. Everything you can think of that you do that takes up your time. B is the stuff that, all right, I'm the best at doing it. I've got to do this right now in my business to keep it moving forward. I don't really love it, but I've got to do these things. And C is the, if I had my dream job, this is all I would ever do. So one of the things I would do, I would just go around and speak all the time. That doesn't happen. I don't get to afford myself that opportunity yet. So you list all these things, and now I want you to think about what percentage of your time each week goes into each bucket. How much time are you spending on C, oh shit tasks? How much time are you spending on the stuff you have to do? And how much time do you really spend doing the stuff you love doing, that you're best at doing, that only you can do in your business that's going to move it forward? And don't judge yourself. The first time you do it, it's going to be a little depressing. And that's okay, because we look forward with this, right? Because you've created your structure. You know what you're doing. So now what I want you to do in your quarterly business review, the reason we do this is we have to address where we're at now. Now we look forward and I say, where do I want to be? In 90 days, how do I want this distribution of tasks to look? So if I'm spending 50% of my time in C, 20%, let's say 40% in B, and 10% in my C, how do I want to redistribute that? I want to move 20% to my C-level tasks. That other stuff has to get done. So now we just break down the plan to get you there. But what if? How many of you think you could double your business if you could win back 5 hours a week to focus on other things that would move your business forward every single week, week after week? You guys are some underperformers. Adam's back there like, yay, cool. I mean, if you had 5 productive hours per week that you could devote to whatever would move your business forward, I'm not going to tell you what that is for you. Whatever your unique ability is, would you love your job a little bit more? Would you love your business a little bit more? Of course you would. The trick is, it's that stinky behavior stuff we have to delegate. This is the stuff we're naturally not good at. So there is a 4-step handoff tool inside your alignment manual. So if you're overwhelmed and you're stressed out and you just don't know what to do, right, one of the things you need to take away from this event is to figure out what are 2 or 3 of those or A-level tasks, the oh shit tasks that I can get off my plate and put on somebody else. How can I get that to them so they can protect me, so that I can do more of what I want to do? And you break it down, and the biggest mistake you make is you hand it off and you forget it. The key is you have to manage it. You have to continue to track it. Right? You want to measure that performance. Also, don't look for somebody to do it as well as you'll do it the first time. The key is if you find somebody else, all that stuff you hate, somebody else loves doing. Somebody else just absolutely wants to do it. Go find them. They'll do it better than you once they learn how you want it done. Take the time and the patience to coach and teach them. But figure out, if you don't do anything else, just go take 2 or 3 of those tasks you just hate doing and figure out how to get rid of them in your business. That'll more than pay for anything you had, the travel, the cost of the event, anything. And you've got to find this sense of importance. Right? Purpose gives you that sense of importance. And finding your purpose is really hard. Right? Everybody is like, I found my purpose, my passion. This is what I want to do. I think passion and purpose are 2 different things. Passion is just stuff you love to do. Right? You can be passionate about hobbies. You can be passionate about this, but you can't make a living off of it. You can't necessarily make an impact off of it. Some people figure out how to do that. But you need to have a sense of purpose for everything that you do. You need to know that the action I took today, the things I did today, the client I worked with today, it had a sense of purpose. There was an impact there. That'll keep you motivated. So you've got to dig down and find that sense of purpose. When you're doing the things you're great at doing, you're going to figure that stuff out. And so much of this purpose comes into priorities. When I get lost and frustrated and overwhelmed and anxious and stressed out, and feel like I'm not doing what I should be doing, it's usually because I'm doing the stuff that's on this Post-it note that should be marked later. It's not the stuff that's important. It's not my priorities. It's the stuff that I'm just trying to check off because I don't know what to do next. I don't have my sense of clarity. I don't understand what the most important thing to do is. So you have to discipline yourself to focus on your priorities. Now, with my priority tracker, and you guys have 13 priority trackers in your alignment manual as well. This priority tracker, it's like your day planner, but it fits our structure and our system, right? So it keeps you focused on the big picture. There's a reason that in my priority tracker, I have 5 things that I can do every day. There's 5 spots. If I try to cram more than that in there, I know I'm breaking my rules. Because there's no more than 5 high priority activities that I could do in a given day. And if I'm just doing more than that, like I'm checking off 10, 15 things, I'm just checking off tasks. It's not the highest priority things. So I have 5 because that's my rule, that's my framework. I want to give myself that structure so that I can put myself in that box and say, what are the 5 most important things? Sometimes I don't have 5, maybe it's 3. What are the 3 most important things that I could do today to help move our business forward, to make an impact on what I want to do? To embrace my unique abilities or my purpose, to give me that sense of purpose. And then I focus on those. My goal at the end of the day is to cross all of those off. Right? And if you do that, your business will move forward faster. When you get stuck, when you feel like you're on the hamster wheel of business and you're stuck with your revenue, you can't figure out profits, you don't know how to build systems, you're putting out the same fires over and over and over again, you can probably track it back to this. I'm not focused on my priorities. I'm not doing the things that really matter in my business. You have to discipline yourself. And when you do all these things and you put it together, momentum is absolutely your best friend. How many of you understand what I mean by the sense of momentum? You've ever felt that where you just catch the momentum and you're riding as fast as you can? Like the day goes by fast. You get lost in a task and 2 hours seemed like 15 minutes and you're like, wow, that was awesome. And something inside of you is just boiling up and you're really excited about it. That's what you want to feel as much as you can in your business. That's what true entrepreneurs, true business owners thrive on. Right? It's not the money thing, or it's not any of this other stuff, or creating a multi-million-dollar business. It's creating that sense of momentum. When you're frustrated, when you feel the chaos, when you do those things, it's because your momentum has come to a screeching halt. Because you feel like you're stuck. You don't know how to get through that. Right? You catch momentum by doing all the stuff we've just talked about, by getting around other people like that are in this room that can help you get out of that rut. Sometimes you don't even understand. You guys know what this is, right? That's the pendulum where the balls hit on each end and they keep going perpetually forever. Right? Sometimes you get so caught up in your own head doing the day-to-day tasks, all the stuff that doesn't matter, that you don't realize that you yourself took your hands at the end of that and just slammed it shut and stopped all momentum in your business. You've lost your focus, so we have to figure out how to regain that, and you do that by following these steps. And I know, like, Marshall, I've been working with Marshall, October 16, right? That's when we started. And Marshall's been in the programs for a long time. He'll tell his story a little bit later, and I won't go too in-depth in the history, but I started working with Marshall one-on-one, 2016 in October. And we came up on his annual business review. And I want to tell you this story because sometimes the purpose thing is like, dude, what does this matter? Like, I've heard this before. I'm going to give you a real-life example of the difference this can make. And, you can tell me if I'm full of shit when you come up here. Please don't. So we went through his annual business review, and Marshall has big goals. Like, this dude is a machine. I mean, he crushes stuff. Like, he'll have 56 rocks and 387 tasks coming out of a meeting, and the next meeting, like, he's sent me a report halfway between our monthly calls, and he's already got them all done, and I'm really not sure what to do with him. But the problem is he had this big vision, but then when he was telling me what he really wanted, it didn't line up. He wanted 4 or 5 facilities. Was it 1,000 total or 1,000 at each? 1,000 total. 4 or 5 facilities, 1,000 total clients at any given time he was working with. And we talked about, he wanted to build like this Fortune 500 fitness company. But he also was telling me how much he enjoyed spending time with Savannah and how much he wanted to set himself up so that when parenthood came, that he had the time to spend with his kids. And then all these things, and I said, well, how do you think you're going to have both of these? And he fought me. Did you not fight? He was pissed when I started challenging. He was like, dude, I just want to get to set my rocks. And I was like, we're not getting there yet. Like, we spent 40 minutes of this call talking about his vision. And I think he was like, God, I wish I didn't have this asshole as a coach. He doesn't know what he's doing. He probably was like, he doesn't even know how to set a rock. That's why he's not getting there. So we reset it, and we started to look at what he really wanted to do. And we just shortened it a little bit. And we said, okay, well, cool, what is really important to you? Why does the money thing really matter? Why do you need to make this much? How else can you help 1,000 people? What other impact can we have? And we recast his entire vision. But we reset it, and we reset all the priorities. Okay? And all of a sudden, he was a machine before. You hit your annual goal for new total clients in what, June? May, okay, yeah, better. May. He hit his annual goal. He set a PR in gross revenue. And, that's not what it's all about. I'll keep telling the story a little bit for him. But he set a PR in gross revenue, I think, 4 out of 6, 7 months this year. He continues to grow. But he's also hired a GM, extracted himself mostly from the business, and now he's taking on a second project that means an awful lot to him in Savannah. Because we reshifted a purpose. If we wouldn't have reshifted that purpose and that focus and put the structure around him to allow him to do those things and managed his marketing, which he kind of already had under control, we don't do that, he's still working on setting up stupid systems so that you can implement them across 5 different facilities and probably getting hung up because they're not perfect, right? We would be stuck in this rut. He might be on pace, if we're lucky, to hit his annual goal. But now we got to kind of sit back and focus on something else because he hit his annual goal in May. And maybe Marshall's an outlier. Right? The guy's like the Terminator of fitness business owners. He just keeps on going, doesn't matter what you do. He's just going to crush stuff that gets in his way. But you can do the same thing. Right? when you figure out what you're supposed to do, sometimes you just need a second pair of eyes on all this. And I just want to tell you, like, why this purpose, why giving him that sense of what he was working for meant so much. Now he's able to grind, but he knows he's grinding in the right direction. So now you understand, you know how to focus your unique abilities. You know how to take them, you know how to get rid of the stuff you don't want to do, you know how to create momentum in your business, right? And I want to introduce you guys to some high performers. Can I get a handheld mic, please? Will you guys come on up? So each year, the 7 of you guys, come on up now, yeah. So each year we select a pool of coaching clients. We look at 3 different things in their business, and we look at growth. So both growth personally and revenue-wise, we look at all of their metrics. We looked at them over the course of a couple of years since they've been with us, and we wanted to look at that first and foremost, right? If you're doing you're barely getting by, you probably can't be classified as a high-performing business owner. So they have to hit a certain level, but it really wasn't about any of them quadrupling their business or opening multiple locations. This was about their personal growth and development. It was about them becoming high performers, realizing their potential, creating this structure. Right, so we looked at growth. Second, we looked at, do they have traits of high performers? Some of them, I think they'll tell their stories, and they haven't had a lot of revenue growth. But they did that consciously. That's leadership. That's smart. That's really, really good business ownership. They recognized if I continue to put the pedal down, if I continue to try to grow, bad things are going to happen. I'm going to create more problems for myself. I'm okay to step back and create more freedom. Things in their life change. They needed more time. So they've created that. And so they all have a little bit of their story that they're going to tell. And so we're going to give them each a few minutes. We've got some awards for them, and we've selected one of them as our high-performing business owner of the year. The votes are already in, so they're not like trying to persuade you guys for votes. Well, a few people might, but we'll see. But I just want to let them tell their stories because, for us, we want you to have a breakthrough. This is our goal, my big breakthrough. What can you take from here and make it 10 times the investment that you paid for to get here, that you invested to get here? And me saying it is one thing, but them saying it, I hope that inspires you. You say, I was in their shoes. I understand that. Wow, I'd like to be able to do that. And I'm going to let them tell their story. Adam, can you start? Sure. Okay. And you want to introduce yourself in case people don't know.
So, thanks. There's no pressure in this. My name's Adam Farrell. I'm the owner of Pinnacle Performance and Fitness. We're out of Corpus Christi, Texas. And we've been in business over 11 years now. I've been with FR before FR was FR. I think Johnny and a few others here in the room were there as well. And it's pretty humbling to be up here with this group of people and even to be with you all in this room. I don't think some of us do this for the revenue, for the metrics, but I think a lot of us also do this for the relationships and the people that were changing the lives, saving lives, as Dean put it the other day in our mastermind group. And the intention and the focus that Nick and Kelly and Ryan and Julie and Perla and Dee, I know I'm leaving people out, put into us, people that are on the stage, and hopefully you all as well. You're not going to find it anywhere else. I'm not trying to plug FR. That's not my intention. But going through the process of being a business owner for 11 years and the ups and the downs and having that support system, because I've really tried to screw it up a number of different times in a number of different ways. And despite those screw-ups and me doing that, I've been able to get pulled back into the focus and where I need to go as a business owner and also as a person. So I think that's about all I got. Does that work?
Yeah. What advice would you give them? How do they find their breakthrough? And you don't have to plug coaching, but just
that's pretty much it. Is to find a mentor or find someone that can steer you in the direction that you want to go. For myself, it's floundering and screwing up and trying to fix it again. But when you have someone like Julie that can say, okay, let's bring it back in. I know that shiny object's really shiny and it's something you want to do, or that small pumpkin, you got to kill it. I mean, that's the path to success, is find someone that's done it before, or a coach that can keep you focused and follow that path with them. Because personally left to my own devices, I wouldn't be standing up here for sure, guaranteed.
Thank you. And Adam did not do himself justice in the story. None of these guys are shameless promoters, except Will. I was hoping you'd wear your really dapper outfits that you have all over your Instagram, no? But I told him it's not a promotional thing. This isn't a plug for us. It's to inspire you guys. And Adam's been through a lot of ups, downs, been in business a long time, probably one of the longest tenured in the room. And he's survived it all. It's not always what's in lamb, right? So much of business ownership is survivalism. How do I get to the next day? How do I get there, right? It's not all the, that just isn't how it works. I wish it was. It'd be a lot easier, right? But you've done an incredible job, and we appreciate you very much. So, Ryan, take it.
All right. I'm Ryan Morgan from St. Louis, Missouri, just down the street from Marshall, actually, about 10 minutes down the road. But actually, it's kind of funny. We started this journey pretty much at the same time, and kind of decided to become business owners at the exact same time. And we're at a summit just like this together and sharing a hotel room right in the beginning. So it's cool to be, I don't know, 4 years ago? Yeah. But so it's cool. It's really cool to be up here with all these people, and I personally know a lot of these people too. So it's an honor to be up here. Ryan sent us a couple of things to think about that he wanted us to share, and one of them was what are the biggest challenges that you face to get to where you are now. And I thought about that, and everything has been a challenge from the beginning, you know. So I'm a big believer in it. What doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. So you have to be challenging yourself wherever you're at. Like from the start, you know, going from training one-on-one to group, that was a big challenge. Like figuring out how to do that. Going from there, figuring out how to not just train, but actually like be a salesman. How do you sell people on what you're doing? How do you market? How do you market effectively? Then, you know, how do you hire somebody? There's all these things that I never knew, but you have to just find the right resources. And luckily, this group provides a lot of those right resources. But I believe that anybody can really do this. You just have to seek out the knowledge, and I just believe that this group is there to provide a lot of that, and they provide the structure, and then the rest of it you don't even really know until you're in a group like our mastermind groups. You don't even really know what you're going to get from that. It just kind of happens over time that you figure things out. What else?
What was your breakthrough?
Breakthrough for me, I think the breakthroughs have just been through continually getting the next step of coaching that I needed. Really from going from just having a coach in FR to having the peer group, that really has been a big breakthrough for me, just to have that additional source of support there. So, yeah, it's been great.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Congratulate Ryan. My man.
So I'm Marshallton Gray, actually. No, I'm Marshall Ray from St. Louis, and I've been with FR, you know, in some capacity since like before I even opened up about 5.5 years ago. Just like learning information on products, and then Accelerator, and then FR, and Mastermind now, and I've learned just so much of the process. So, you know, thinking about all the challenges that I faced is the same exact ones that you guys are all going through. And as a business owner, you feel like you got to be great at everything, right? Just like those 5 steps that Nick laid out, that's like so true. Like, you have to be good at all those elements. And I used to always think that I could, like, do it myself and just, just work hard and just Google it and, like, buy this book, and I'll, like, figure it all out. And I just put my head down and try to plow through problems. And I only got marginal results. So the 3 things that have led to my breakthrough, somewhat of a breakthrough, that I hopefully can inspire you guys a little bit. The first one is definitely just, just buy into coaching, man. Like, the FR program is absolutely amazing. It's helped me out so much. But I know for me, like, taking that leap to the mastermind level with my Jedis, oh yeah, it's been absolutely, like, game changer. These guys and gals, and the coaches and, like, everybody, the whole, like, team, man, like, you're just so much more involved, so much more focused, and the perspective has just been amazing. So, 1, be coachable and, buy into that coaching process, because the more bought in I am, the better success I have. 2 would be your team. I'm very, very fortunate that at Bagger Faster Fitness in St. Louis, I have an amazing staff, and I really care for them, and I know they care for me as well, and success for all of our clients, right? But you're as strong as your team, so make sure your team is right. And then 3rd thing is, I know from all these presentations, all these ideas, and all this like cool stuff that you get, like, you just want to do it all at once. But progress only comes 1 step at a time. I think the key is just making sure, knowing what the right step is, and taking that right step 1 at a time, over and over and over, and it compounds to a place where you want to be. Hope that helps.
You can hand it to Jen. Jen already wants to punch me. So this is the 2nd year now, and Chris came up to me before, and he's like, hey, Jen wants to punch you. Because we asked them to come up and speak. But she said she didn't want to punch me by midday.
No, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
used to him keeping stuff and telling me last minute. So I'm Jen Rhodes. I'm attached with this guy, Chris, my husband and business partner. We've had Renegade Fitness in Toledo, Ohio for just over 6 years. I think we've been a part of FR or whatever they've put out before, during, after, now what they'll put out tomorrow. We've been a part of. Last year I talked about the whole, started from the bottom, now we're here story. That was, tell Ashley I said that. So I gave that, like, all of us, we start here and we have to grow and build. We're measly trainers at a big box gym, then we want something better for everybody, so we started a business. So we've done all those steps that we've talked about all day, what everybody's touched on, building systems, that's all been done because we've been a part of all these amazing groups. But when Chris told me we were up for this again, which is always special and an honor, in my mind, because I always think that, like, who are we in this sea of awesome people? When he said that, I thought back to this past year, and we have not grown revenue per se. We've had a few, high months, and next year it will be higher and awesome. But it was like Ryan said, we purposely didn't do that because for us, this past year wasn't about growing revenue and growing numbers and growing those things. And I think if you guys listening to me babble, if you get anything out of that, is that you do have to look at what it is you need each month, each quarter, each year for you and your business. And for us, it was about growing our team and our systems and allowing us to be in a position to grow now this year, revenue and all those other things. For us, it was when we started, we were just single young kids doing whatever. So each year there's a new thing you want to accomplish, a new thing, a new problem that arises. Then it's getting married. Then it's last year we had our first daughter. So now it's, gosh, we can't be here 7 days a week all the time anymore, after 6 years. So for us, it was about how do we keep building our team to support Renegade and to where now we can focus on growing personally, so that way we can be better for our clients and for our staff, so that way they can thrive. So anyways, this is now then the first full year where we were able to take a full week away on a family vacation after 7-8 years of training and the gym run. This is the first summit where we can bring a part of our team and still have the gym fully operational back home. And so for us, that was a huge growth thing. And again, it wouldn't be possible without systems and tools and things to be implemented and being a part of the mastermind groups and all those things to kind of push us to take the next steps that sometimes you just sit back and you're like, I'll just do it. Like, I'll just work all those days. It's not a big deal. But then you realize, like, you do need to implement these things to step back. So that's our year.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Johnny Fukumoto. I've been part of, I guess, relationships with the leadership of this organization probably 2008, 2009. Back then, I was trying to join FR, but they wouldn't let me because I'm Canadian. And so I had to be a little more patient. But there's definitely some good reasons that I'll share a little bit later why I'm still around. So the challenges, if I'm speaking about challenges, all the same or similar as you guys, from not having client management software and not knowing what that was and trying to collect money from people who still haven't paid me, to getting hit on my scooter. Yeah, I had a scooter, going to train clients and then being the sole person in the business and not knowing what to do, to getting married, asking my wife if she would support us while I have this idea I'm going to pursue, to have a gym, and all that kind of stuff. So every challenge that you can imagine. And when I first came here, I didn't know anybody. I was in a conference room like this, and I felt like I didn't belong, and I was really overwhelmed. And I wish someone like Marshall had said at the time, just like focus on one thing to take home, because my brain was exploding. But from there, I think 3 things that I can attribute the success to my year is 2 of them are very similar to what Jen explained. Is one is coaching and being willing to ask for help. I wasn't necessarily the smartest person in my city or whatever I did, but I was always okay just calling people up and taking them out for coffee and asking for help. I was like the best at asking for help because I didn't know anything. And that has been paying off for a while now. So that would be some advice to you guys, and just being surrounded by people who can look at you for outside your own perspective is hard to do as an entrepreneur, but you guys probably realize it pays off really quickly. The second thing would be my team. We also have our director of operations, Barbara. She doesn't like to be singled out, but she's there, right there. And this is the first time she's been able to come to this as well. And my team they know this too. It's not like this is a surprise. Like, they really hold me up and support me in a way that's genuine. And I'm going to talk a lot about them tomorrow, actually. So I hope you guys can come out to hear that. But that definitely comes to my mind. And my family. So my wife, if she wasn't on board and really engaged and supportive, I would not even be doing any of this as well. She's not here, so I'm not like trying to get points, but if any of you guys know her, please text her that I said that. My year was different. I was actually quite surprised as well to be up here with all these people, because we might even have like 5 less clients than we did starting the beginning of the year. We're really working hard on growing our staff and making sure they're ready. If we decide to add any more clients ever, I don't even know if next year we'll add any. 2 years ago, I thought we would, and then it was like, no, not a good time. Last year, no, not a good time. And just trying to be okay with that and be like, okay, what can we do to grow anyways? What does that look like? And for me as well, I took a week with my wife to go to Vancouver, and was able to do some stuff with my family. I have 2 little boys, 1 and 3 years old, and was really starting to be on the edge of messing my priorities up with my family. And so I really started focusing on that this year a little bit more. And so those were wins for me in ways that I grew outside of revenue and stuff like that. So that's been important to me personally. In terms of breakthrough, I would say those have been my breakthroughs. And again, I would just say, if it hasn't been said already, ask for help. If you don't leave this weekend if you want to talk to someone or you have questions about anything. It's going to help you, and I just welcome you to do that. So thank you.
What's going on? My name is William Savoy. I am the owner of Savoy Fitness. I've been with FR for around 3 years, I think, and it's been a super roller coaster. First of all, I'm excited to be on stage with everybody. I would say my biggest takeaway is probably the family aspect of it. So when I started my business, I literally just, the guy was like, "You want the gym?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I just hopped like right into it. I didn't know how to do price points. I didn't know how to do sales. But FR kind of gave me all the pieces. I think Marshall gave me my first piece of a contract. It had 10 points on there, and I still use it to this day. Joe showed me how to do some different training techniques. He was doing this thing like tic-tac-toe. He does like several different things he does, and like my boot campers love it, and I think I got a bunch of clients off of that. I think my expenses, I didn't know what my expenses were. I think Izzy was the first one to give me like an Excel sheet, and it had all your expenses, and I plugged it in. Nick taught me how to stay focused. Ryan taught me how to market like a pro. So CJ was probably that's the best. I had a good lesson from him, I think 2 years ago. So me and him linked up at one of the EFPS meetings, and I told him I'd take him to the airport, and I was like, cool. So I'm like, me and CJ get to hang out for like 4 hours. So CJ comes to me after the meeting, and CJ's like, let's go to Starbucks and do work. And I'm like, yeah, we were just doing work for like 2 days. So when I was there with him, as focused as he was, I caught his energy, and I realized that even as successful as he is, I need to do the extra I need to do to get to where I need to be. So fast forward, I was able to open a second facility. It's running great, and I used the same contract that Marshall gave me. We did tic-tac-toe the other day, and it just works. The systems work, FR works. Something that I would say you guys do, I think I said it in my video, insanity is doing the same thing but expecting a different result. So I mean, if you're saying you need to change this, that, and this, I just take the risk and do it. I don't regret it. For real, I wish I would have did it earlier, but I didn't know about it until CJ showed me. But just take the risk, do it. Great group of people. I see my employees in FR more than like my regular friends. I know somebody was talking about that earlier, but best decision I ever made. So yeah, do it if you haven't done it.
I'm Jim Herrick. I've been with FR, I think, almost 6 years to the day. I think it was the day that I met Ryan and a lot of other people here, Nick. We work at Power Source. We run a facility up in Leominster, Massachusetts. I don't know that I can say much that hasn't already been said up here. I do want to say one thing, though. I want to thank FR and all the people who have helped me, particularly my success coach, Julie Hatfield. If she's in here, she's been wonderful. She really kind of dials you in, makes sure you stay on point with everything. You know, I think exactly what Adam said, you know, you try to chase other things, and it brings you down, it slows you down, and if you can stay on point, it just speeds up the whole process for you. Also, our mastermind group, Purple Aces, have been great. It's really nice. As a fitness business owner, sometimes you're isolated. You have your own little world, and you don't have other people that you can really talk to on the level of the things that you deal with. So they've been wonderful. This weekend's been wonderful as far as all that. And breakthroughs, I really want to get right to the breakthrough because I don't think that we do anything that's more special than any other facility. I think that, you know, we all, though, have challenges and problems that we deal with all the time. And sometimes I feel like maybe all of us, whether we want to admit it to or not, we take that at the end of the day, and that's what we focus on, are the things that are challenging that day, or we're just overworked or stressed, and that's what we think of on the way out. And one thing that's helped me this year is at the end of the day, on days that maybe are a little bit more challenging, to step back and to think of the things that went well. You know, we all make such a difference in so many people's lives, and maybe on the way home, and you're thinking about, you know, this thing went wrong with a contract, or, you know, this coach didn't do what I wanted him to do. to step back and think of the things that did go right, you know, the impact that you can have on somebody when they come in and maybe didn't have a great day and they come to you and they walk out with a smile. Or you have a coach who wasn't doing what you thought they were going to do, but then that day they did it, you know, and they just picked up what you were hoping that they would do, and you see that, and you can focus on the positive. And I think that's been the biggest breakthrough for me. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, in addition to the recognition, I mean, we wanted to show all of you how much we appreciate you, and we appreciate everyone, but you guys are leaders for us. And so Nick, you know, he loves reading, right? And he thought you guys were falling behind a little bit, and he was a little worried. So we have autographed copies of Conscious Coaching from Bartholomew, the IYCA Principles of Athletic Strength and Conditioning. Jim, thank you for signed copies of this book. And Nick Tuminello has a signed book for us as well. We'll make sure to get those to you guys. We also have plaques for everyone, and the last person to get their plaque is the winner. We cast our votes. Some people were excluded. Anyone that works for us on our team or works closely with us, so CJ, Tiffany, Perla, they're all, Pamela, excluded from this. Obviously, there's a bias there. And then any previous winners. So Jared, Dean, why am I Dean, Jared? Who else was a winner? I was a winner once. That's what you can do. So I'm excluded from the vote. Right, so they are excluded, but the last person is the winner. We voted from the success coaches. Nick, myself, and Kelly Berry all had a vote in this, and there were two front runners, and it was a really tight race, and every one of you is deserving to be there. This was probably the hardest, most competitive year since I've been orchestrating this with our team that we've ever had. So Adam, congratulations on being a finalist. For sure. Thank you. Johnny, congratulations, my man. Thank you very much. Jim, congratulations on being a finalist. Thank you. Is the suspense killing you guys? Chris and Jen, congratulations. Congratulations. Uh-oh. Ryan Morgan, congratulations. And this was this was legitimately the toughest. Marshall, congratulations on being a finalist. And Big Will, you are the high-performing business owner of the year. Congratulations.
Can you take a picture?
Absolutely. So what we'll do is let's all gather outside once we're done. We'll take one by the, I don't know what it's called, Kelly, what is it? Step and run, step and repeat, I don't know. The hangy thing. Yeah, that one, right? Okay. Give these guys one more hand, guys and ladies. Thank you. You guys are good. Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it so much. You can grab your seats. I'm going to wrap up. It'll just be awkward if you're standing up here while I try to finish out. So what do you guys think? You think this will work for you? You truly believe that if you put the marketing in play and you create the structure and you have the framework and you do the things that they talked about, there was no crazy success story up here that they did anything different than what any of you are capable of. So I have to ask, do any of you truly believe, is there that fear still there? Is there anything you think you can't do? Right? Well, you absolutely can. Right? So how many of you are really excited about taking the information you're going to learn from here and run with it, to have your breakthrough? How many of you guys are really excited? Right? Yes. Right? Excited. Well, how many of you also are a little overwhelmed? Holy shit, what do I do now? That's all okay. All right? It's absolutely normal to feel that way. So I know everybody's ready to get to the social, long day. Is it cool if I have 3 minutes more of your time to share this special? 3? That's it? Danny said 3. Put me on the clock. All right. So this is another quote that came up. It's always on the TVs in my coaching program that I'm involved in. And this is a sales-heavy coaching program. We do leadership, management, everything. But motivation's what keeps you growing. Discipline is what keeps you growing. Talked about it earlier. It's easy to get motivated, right? It's easy to be rah, rah, let's go. It's the discipline that actually makes the difference. The hard part is we aren't good at keeping ourselves very disciplined. So we have to be able to create that structure and surround ourselves with the right type of people. And when we talk about this with people, how many of you that are in the coaching program, if we had this conversation, this was going through your head? I don't have this in my budget, right? Robert did. Okay, everybody, hands are in the back. All the hands are in the back, so you can turn around. They are up, but nobody has this in their budget. Right? Your clients don't have fitness in their budget. Nobody thinks I'm going to set aside going out, all these nice dinners, buying this new clothes, whatever it is. Nobody sets that aside. It's an investment. If you think I don't have it in my budget, or you sit up here and listen to these stories, you see the stats, you look at the results. If you just put the work in, you follow the process, it's an investment. So my wife and I had this conversation. She's somewhere in this room, so I have to be careful what I say. But we had this conversation. She has a small business on the side, and she buys equipment for the state for people with disabilities. And it's people that need this to do their jobs, to start their own businesses, to go to school. Just simple stuff that you and I take for granted every single day, right? Being able to type in a computer where you have to have something that actually translates your voice to the text, right? Stuff like that. And, we looked at this, and this was another avenue for us. And she is someone that just likes to take care of people. She loves to do that. And so this fit really well for her, but when we were looking at this, there's an upfront cost. When we buy it through the state, we all know the government's not the fastest at giving you money. They want your money right away. They don't want to give you money. And so we had to be prepared to invest up to $15,000 to get this started. We didn't have that in our budget. I didn't budget and say, I've got 15 grand in a savings account that I'm just going to put out. Luckily, we had money, but it wasn't budgeted for this. But what we looked at was we can get a 20 to 30% return on every dollar that we spend. If we did it right, it was an investment. She's more than doubled our money with that investment. That's what coaching does for you. It's not an expense. It's not something you pay for. It's an investment when it's done right. It pays for itself time and time and time and time again. Over and over and over and over. It should provide you that return. So you can't think, do I have this in my budget? Because no one does. It's that investment that you have to make. And in your manuals, in the attendee manuals, there's a page, and it's an application. Right? There's no commitment. If you're not sure about joining, if you're not sure if this is right for you, if you're not in a program, if you are in a program and you think, I might have something more, maybe there's the next step for me. Right? I want you to fill out that application. And I'm going to take all those applications, and I'm here for you guys. I just want to sit down and have a conversation with you. I want to have a 30, 60-minute strategy session. Let's figure out what are the things that are going to provide you opportunities. Where can we find these hidden challenges that you don't even see yet that we can get out of the way? What can we do to accelerate your progress? And we'll talk and see if it's a good fit. Not everybody's a good fit for this program. So if you fill out that application, and you turn in the back room, I'll make sure to find every single person that does that. We will sit down. I will stay here as long as I need to tomorrow to do that. And we will talk about whether it's a good fit, what we can do to make it out. But if you're on the fence about joining, talk to one of the people that was up here. Get their opinion of what you should do. Talk to somebody else in the room that we didn't have up here to see if they think that it's valuable. But you've got to kind of get out of your own head, and you've got to ask yourself, what if? What if all this did was help you make progress 25% faster? What if you could get to your goal 25% faster and then 25% faster again? Would it be worth it? Would it be worth it to hit your new client goal, that one you haven't told anybody about in your head because you're scared and you don't know how to get there? What would that be worth if we could get you there 25% faster? What if we could free up 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a week of your time because you're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, and we can create the systems and structure to help you get away with that? What would that be worth to you? For those of you who had kids, How much would you give to spend 5 hours a week with your kids? What about your spouse, the date night that you've never had, or a significant other? Date night you haven't had in months because you're busy doing the oh shit tasks, because you're stressed out all the time, right? Would that be worth it? What if we could help you get just 2 or 3 more clients than you're getting now a month? Right? Would that be worth it? I'd go ahead and venture to say, if you ask any of these guys, like 2 to 3 that's easy. That's one tip. That's the strategy session tomorrow. If I can't figure that out tomorrow, then it probably isn't a good fit. Right, but what if? You have to ask yourself those questions. What if all it did was those things, just one of those things? Would it be worth it to you? And the one thing I don't want you to leave here thinking about is, what if I didn't discover my untapped potential? What if I didn't take advantage of this? What if I didn't fill out that application and you regret not doing it sooner, like so many people said already? I look forward to meeting with any of you there. I'm here all weekend to help you guys out. Our whole team is. But I want to help you discover your untapped potential. Don't leave here, what if? Thank you guys. I'll see you guys at the social.